Hey guys, my name is Haley. If you're new, welcome to my channel. I hope that this video is helpful to you if you're either looking to buy a looper pedal or if you already bought one and have a lot of questions about it. I wanted to make this video because when I was first starting to look at a looper, I really liked the concept of looping. I saw like Instagram videos that were doing this and also live looping, and it just thought it was really cool that you can make a little band all by yourself. But when I first got one, I realized that there was a lot of things I sort of wish I would have considered in the beginning that just make it a little bit more difficult depending on what looper that you have. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so the first thing that I wish that I would have considered is getting a looper that had a start and stop button. Because if you are playing a verse and a chorus of a song, it wouldn't have two different loop parts. Mine right now, I wanted a really compact one to fit on my board, which in theory is a good idea. But this one, I have the TC Electronic Ditto looper, just the mini one. If you have to stop your loop, say if I was to do like, you know, a verse loop and then I wanted to stop it and just play through a chorus and then restart it, you have to double tap. And that is a weirdly difficult thing to do because the tapping does not line up with the tempo of a song. So you're essentially having to double tap, but then keep the same tempo and keep the rhythm of your song. And it is really weirdly hard to multitask that. So that is the first thing that I would consider if you are planning on using this live and doing songs that have a part A or B part or verse and chorus. Getting a looper that has a separate start and stop button. The next thing to think about is looking at your board beforehand and deciding where your looper is gonna go. For me, I didn't really realize that your looper has to be at the end of your signal chain. And this is because if you are recording a loop, basically if you are going through that and then the next loop you want to change your tone, so say you put on a really heavy reverb delay kind of sound, that is going to, if it's at the front of your signal chain, it's going to make the first loop that you did also have that effect, if that makes sense. So if you put it at the end, you can record things with separate tone for each loop. So that is another thing to consider, is just placement of that looper really makes a big difference. The third thing that I would consider is looking into loopers that have the kind of autocorrect feature and basically make sure that your tempo is exactly on time. It's a little bit cheating, but it's also really difficult to get a perfectly timed loop a lot of times. And you know, along the way, especially if you're live looping, it's a really big pain to have to redo one of your loops because it's gonna just take that much more time, especially if your first loop is a little bit bigger. So thinking about using something that's that feature, and then also, if you are planning on like, I am going to live perform with a looper and really make this my thing, I would really consider investing in a looper that does sort of have more of the bells and whistles. I know the Boss looper is really nice at having a lot of different features and making it simple for live looping. So if this is something that you're going to use a lot live, I would definitely look into something that has like the start and stop button, the autocorrect timing feature, and all of that to just make it easy for yourself. The last thing that I would consider before getting a looper is really thinking about what I'm going to be using it for. If you are someone that you play by yourself, a looper is going to be really handy, and you might want to start practicing, okay, how can I do this bass part? Like for me, I have the Eventide H9 pedal, and it has an octave pedal in it, so it's really nice to just be able to think, okay, now I'm gonna record a bass part, and I'll switch it, or if you just have an octave pedal in general, switch it to being a lower octave for that bass part, or thinking about using it for percussion or something. So if you are a solo artist and you're gonna be playing alone at maybe a writer's round, or just playing a small gig somewhere with just yourself, thinking about those different band parts that you could play is really nice. But if you are someone that plays in a band, thinking more about, okay, how can I think really creatively with my guitar without making it too many parts or making it messy sounding. So thinking through why you're wanting to buy a looper and sort of what purpose it's gonna have is gonna be really helpful in just kind of practicing looping and sort of thinking more like a producer in that. So I hope that these quick and simple tips help you if you're looking for a looper or if you already have one. The biggest thing to know is it does take some practice. You think, oh, how hard is it? I'm just gonna record maybe 3 or 4 parts and do a little solo over it. But getting that timing spot on, and also, you're kind of recording, and I feel like anytime you're recording anything, you're always just going to mess up more than you normally would live. So kind of factoring that in and not being hard on yourself for taking time to learn it. It's almost like learning a new instrument. So let me know if you have any thoughts or advice for any people that are buying a looper pedal, and thank you guys so much for watching.